Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I thought I would do another fairy tale reading video. So these are different chapters of a little book that I've written for all of you who have shared your favorite trigger words with me. I had a few of you asking on chapter 1, and so I've taken some of your favorite trigger words and linked them all together with this fantasy story. So that's what we're doing today, chapter 2. And at the end of the video, I'm going to go and grab my little bowl with your names in it, because a few videos ago I started a raffle for a copy of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that I actually wrote and recently got published. And I thought I would do a little giveaway, and you were all so supportive and amazing, and I could cry. So cool. So I thought I would do a giveaway, and I'm going to do the giveaway at the end of this. I'll grab my little bowl. So stick around, and I'll see you then. Okay. Enjoy. It's really coming down out there, isn't it? All right. This is a perfect day for chapter 2. We've got our blanket fort. Blanket fort makes everything so cozy. And why don't we go ahead and jump right in where we left off, eh? Okay. All right. Let's have a look-see. So, okay. So there was shoes for the shorts and things. Here we are. Chapter 2. The Dragon. It was still dark outside when Fidget softly closed the cottage door on her way to the bakery. The clouds rumbled overhead, but held their pitter-patter as she ran through the glade. She darted past songbirds and bunny rabbits. Songbirds and bunny rabbits, tempting her to join in the frivolity. A snake slithered past, a temptress in the grass. She ran on, straight ahead, the moss a soft cushion beneath her feet. The door to the bakery was left ajar, and Fidget could hear all the lovely sounds within. The bubbles, clanks, sizzles and rattles of the wild little hut. The familiar aromas of honey, nutmeg, honey and nutmeg, chocolate and cloves, of sugar icings and rosemary toast, buttery biscuits and cardamom cakes. A clinic of culinary delights. A clinic of culinary delights. Sweetness filled every corner of the bakery. Are you warm enough? Good. Here we are. Come in, my child. We mustn't dally. If we don't arrive at the cave by midday, we'll have a real catastrophe on our hands. Belinda barked as she bustled out of the bakery, handing Fidget half a gigantic pie, toting the other half herself out through the front door. Several times they nearly took a tumble, as Fidget wasn't used to sharing such a large load. There was a cotton cloth wrapped around the base of the pie, and it slid stubbornly with each turn in the road. The path to Moidron's lair was a complicated one. Through thickets and marshes, over hills and dales, the pair marched on, a lovely edge of adventure in the air. Fidget loved the freshness of it, the aliveness. Even though her arms ached, she was utterly blissful. She felt all she wanted in this world was to walk with purpose through this land she loved so dearly. Having a companion beside her felt as unfamiliar as a spiny deep-sea creature. She was accustomed to her loneliness, even found solace in it. Having someone else there was another thing entirely. It was hard to express, not unpleasant, something uncomfortable, but perhaps just new. It caught in her throat, but it also warmed her chest and reminded her of crackling fires. A little while on, they came across a wee kitten purring away on the side of the path. A wee kitten. Belinda could see the longing in Fidget's eyes and halted. Here's as good a place to drop down for a rest as any. We'll have a spot of toast and marmalade before we move on. They laid down the pie, covered it with another clean swath of cotton, and sat down in the cool grass beneath the shade of a black walnut tree. The little kitten crawled sweetly into Fidget's lap and nestled into her arms. Hello, sweetness. Hello, sweetness. Aren't you the most precious little kitten I ever did see? Belinda smiled fondly at Fidget's affection for the kitty cat. Her blue-grey fur was smooth under Fidget's hands. Fidget felt Belinda gazing at her and looked up. Belinda turned quickly away, almost caught in a vulnerable act. They sat in silence for a moment, sharing the toast and marmalade and listening to the purring of the little kitten. Then Fidget said, "One thing I've been wondering. What made you choose me? I mean, of all the villagers, there must have been many who wanted the post. It's a much sought-after position. So, why me?" I do love this story. Another long moment of silence bubbled up between them. It filled the air with a humming, almost like that made by an insect's wing. "I suppose I saw something in you that reminded me of someone I lost touch with long ago." The bubbling silence returned. Fidget looked nothing if not confused, but just as she was about to say something, Belinda jumped up and brushed the crumbs clear of her travelling cloak. "Let's be off. We've dillied far too long." They carried on in that buzzing silence for a while. Then Fidget noticed the air becoming cooler as she looked up and realized they were now in the shadow of a towering mountain. Without pause, Belinda guided them up a spindly trail in the side of the mountain. It was difficult work. The terrain made carrying the large pie extremely challenging, and often they had to stop for Fidget to catch her breath. Where were we? Spindly trail and difficult work. Oh. Old as she might look, Belinda didn't seem to be winded at all. If anything, the exertion seemed to energize her. What a curious woman! Fidget's admiration for Belinda beamed brighter as they neared the mouth of the cave. The air here was cool and damp. The mouth of the cave was covered in moss and lichen. I do love that word, lichen. And the air was thick with something unfamiliar to Fidget. They came to a halt, and it was only then that Fidget realized Belinda's energy had shifted. She seemed alert, excited, maybe even a touch nervous. She tilted her head, indicating that they should place the pie on the mossy bed beneath their feet. They squatted down together to unload their burden. Fidget couldn't keep her eyes off of the cave. It took every ounce of self-constraint not to run full sprint into the depths of it. It called to her, beckoned her closer. Her curiosity was hard to contain. She felt herself almost buzzing from the pull of it. In a state of utter fixation and concentration, Belinda didn't seem to notice the change in Fidget's demeanour. Instead, she walked cautiously to the right of the cave, and with little exertion bent to retrieve a similarly gigantic empty pie dish. She returned to the spot where Fidget stood and sat down on the cotton cloth they'd removed from under the fresh pie. Once she was settled, she extracted a reed flute from her satchel. She took a deep, steady breath, then began to play. The sound rose up almost from the depths of the earth, felt like an embrace. It tickled its way up Fidget's spine and landed right at the top of her crown, vibrating and tingling. Tingles, tingling, tingles. She was carried off in a hazy stupor. Serenity washed over her, and she fell into a sort of trance. The song was a sad one, and also tender. It reminded her of something she'd lost, something she missed very much. Before she knew it, her smock was wet with tears. Just as the song reached its haunting final bars, Fidget noticed the earth beneath her start to quake. Boom, boom. The song of the flute began to quiver as Belinda's body shook. She stopped, an ear extended into the cave. Boom, boom. Then she popped up and quickly gathered her belongings. She called to Fidget in a hurried whisper. "We've got to leave now." The pair of them collected all of their things. "Are you all right?" "Oh, good." You looked a bit concerned. I'll keep reading then. The pair of them collected all of their things. Belinda was in an all-out sprint now, with the large empty pie dish balancing on her shoulders and upper back. Excitement pinged around inside of Fidget. She could barely keep it in. Just before they rounded the bend, Fidget stole a glance back at the mouth of the cave, just in time to catch a giant spiny tail weaving its way back into the darkness. That's the end of chapter 2. Well, did you remember that? Has been a while since we've read it. We'll just have to come back and read chapter 3. I do love the smell of these old books, don't you? It's lovely. All right. We can just sit here for a moment and listen to the rain. I know. Would you like a spot of tea? Lovely. We'll just make some now. Here we are. Give it a sniff. Ginger, chamomile, and licorice. Smells lovely. Here you are. Give it a sniff. I'll set this here. There. And now I'll pour one for me. It's quite hot. Have you had a sip? Cheers. So, did you remember much from the story? From when we read it last? Yeah. This is delightful, isn't it? Well, let's just sit, enjoy this blanket fort, as well as each other's company, and listen to the rain, shall we? All right. Okay, just hopping on quickly here before we say goodbye to do the raffle, if you've stuck around. Again, I just wanted to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for all of your incredible support and your kind words. I just can't tell you enough how incredible that was to receive such a beautiful outpouring of support from you. I love YouTube so much, but it just made me feel even more thrilled and excited and in love with this platform. So thank you. It's obviously because of all of you, so thanks. This tea is so good. Okay, so I just got this. I figured it would be kind of fun to do this old school. This top looks dusty, but it's actually just the finish that's on this glass jar thingy. But I thought it would be fun to do it the old school way, so I printed up I wrote down all of the names of everybody who entered the raffle with the top hat emoji or saying top hat. And I wrote them all up, and then I printed them all out, and I cut them all up, and I put them in here. I'm not sure if this sounds nice, but... Okay. Here are all of you. It's so cool. Okay, now I'll pick one. Maybe I should do a little shake up, yeah? So there's no cheating. It's like, I used to be a bartender. It's like that. Emily Richardson. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. Emily Richardson. Cool. So, Emily, I will be writing a little note to you on the inside. And right here. And then I will send this to you if you still want it. So in the front page of my YouTube channel, on the main page, the home page, I have my Instagram linked. So if you go over there, if you have Instagram, and send me a little message, then we can sort of start chatting, and can give you my email, and we can go from there, and I can send it to you. No, I don't mean that we have to chat for a long time. I just mean to get the details of how we're gonna send this safely. Yay! Cool, I hope you like it. I'm feeling self-conscious now, Emily. So, thank you so much again. This has just been kind of a very hectic time, but really incredible and amazing, and I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. Sorry to get sappy at the end of this role play, but I'm feeling a lot of love right now. So, cheers, and I'll see you next time. Please leave me any trigger words, favorite trigger words you feel like I might have missed in this one, or ones that would be fun to fit into the story. writing this chapter was super fun to fill in all of your trigger words. So, yeah, hope you've been enjoying them, and we'll see you again very soon.